In this video, we're going to continue with our post hoc analysis, and we pick up where we had just ended up on our previous video, in that we had calculated the Fisher least significant difference value, and now we're going to use this value to compare against the differences in the averages across these different levels of the independent variable. And to do this, we need to begin the process of setting up our matrix. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight these headings. I'm going to copy those, and I'm going to place those right about here on my spreadsheet. So I'm giving myself some space here. I also need the average values, so I'm going to copy these and I'm going to paste right here. Now I need to place these along the as headings as well. So since I have this highlighted, I'm going to copy this one more time, and I want to put these data aligned right across this row, one row up from the first value. And so to do that, I need to paste special, and I want to transpose. So I'm going to make the columns into rows. And we have those. And we do the same thing with our headings. So I'm going to copy those. I'm going to paste special. And I want to transpose. Okay, so now we have set up. I'm just going to left justify this because we are against this table here. And what I need to do now is I need to calculate the difference between this cell and this cell. Right here. So the difference between minute 3 and minute 3, the difference between minute 3 and minute 6, sequentially along the column and sequentially along the row. So, but I also want the absolute value. So I'm going to start typing in the equation. I'm going to hit the equal sign, and I want ABS, because I don't want to worry about the direction of the difference. I just want to know if the difference is statistically significant. Then I shift 9. Then I click this cell, and I subtract the value in this cell right here. And of course, that's going to be 0. Now what we need to do is I can just grab this and pull it over, but what I want to do is lock in that second value at B24. So I want the difference between 11.4 and 8.5, 16.4 and 8.5, so on and so forth. So I highlight the cell, I go up to my second value in front of the B, I type the $sign, and I type the $sign in front of 24. Of course, that doesn't change the value, but when I grab the bottom right hand corner and pull it over, now what we have are the calculated absolute differences between the average score at each of these 5 time points and minute 3. So this is going to take a little bit of modification. So I highlight this cell, I pull it down one cell here, but what we see is that I want to calculate the difference between 8.5 and 11.4. So to highlight that cell here, we have 8.5 that's sitting in cell C23, but this says C24. So I need to change the 24 to a 3. It's not quite there yet, and I want to change the B24 to a B25. And then I grab this cell and I pull it over. And so we know this works because along the diagonal these should be zeros. So I'm just going to do this a few more times here. This won't take too long. So once again, I want this value to be located in cell C23. Now come back up, and I need to change that 25 to a 26. And we should get a 0 in that third cell. And we do. Okay, we'll do this one more time. And of course we want C23, so I need to change the 24 to a 23. and we are in 27, not 26. And we'll roll that to the right, and we've got one more to go, and there's our 0. So we now have a diagonal of zeros. Do this one last time here. So we want the 24 to be a 23, and we want the 27 to be a 28. Okay, so now we can work with the top half of this matrix or the bottom half. They're both, these are identical values along the diagonal on the other side of the diagonal. So what I'm looking for here, I'm looking for values that are at least as high as the Fisher LSD value of 8.28. So as I scan through my matrix here, I'm just going to highlight the values. I'm just going to put that in a different color here. So here we see that the levels of the independent variable, in other words the specific time points that are different from other time points, reside in these cells. So for instance, we have a difference of 22.6 between minute 12 and minute 3. So what that tells us is that there was a statistically significant difference between minute 3 and minute 12, and we see a fairly large value here at 22.6. As another example, at minute 15, since the number 28 exceeds 8.28, there was a statistically significant difference in the number of those wobbles while the cyclists were going through the test at minute 15, comparably to minute number 3. But for a study like this, I might be interested in the sequential differences. So minute 3 and minute 15 may not be of research concern because we would expect 15 to be different from minute 3. What we might be interested in is at what point in time was there a significant increase in that degree of unsteadiness. And so what I want to look for is the difference between minute 6 and minute 3, because minute 6 is the next time point from minute 3. So I'm just going to highlight that. I'm going to put that in green. I'm going to bold that. And we see that the difference between minute 3 and minute 6 was 2.9, much less than 8.27. So there was not considered to be a statistically significant increase in unsteadiness between the 3rd and the 6th minute. Now after minute 6, we want to compare that with minute 9. So I want to look at the intersection of minute 9 and minute 6, and that puts me right here. So I'm going to highlight that. And we see that the difference is growing. So from minute 3 to 6 to 9, we see that there were 5 unsteadiness values, but it's still less than 8.28. So what comes after minute 9 is minute 12. So I'll move on to minute 12 here, and I want to see where that intersects with minute 9 along the column here. So I have minute 12, and I have minute 9 on row 26. I bold and make that green. Now we see a value of 14.7. That's much larger than 8.28. So what we can conclude here right now is that there was a statistically significant increase in the number of unsteadiness values or wobbles in the transition from minute 9 to minute 12. So let's just finish this up. Was there a significant difference between minute 12 and minute 15? So we'll move over. Where does minute 15 intersect with minute 12? In row 27. I'll put that green and bold. So what we see here, since 5.4 is less than the Fisher critical value here, the Fisher difference, is that there was no significant difference, statistical difference, between minute 12 and minute 15. So the significant difference was found between minute 12 and minute 9. And that rounds out our post hoc test using the Fisher LSD.